endless circle of living and dying until someone breaks it. You walked in here, you ruptured the pattern. Bang. Are you a writer? Because I've got a job for a writer.
Rhyme, meter, conceit. Without this balance, a poem becomes slack.
Then how do you explain Whitman? Well, he hated rhyme and meter.
What's your name?
Allen Ginsberg. Getting to work with people like John and Dane and Austin and the variety of people that I've been able to work with since coming out of Potter has been immensely exciting. And to be, this was the first film I have ever done in America, and to be having these new experiences, 10 or so years into my career is really exciting. Like it's and as you say, I like material that is challenging, and that's where you get to really have fun. The more complicated something is, the more interesting it becomes.
But this one was put together with so much love from all parties involved. This one wasn't easy to get made. We started writing it 10 years ago, and after about 4 years of passing it back and forth, there was something like a passion project we cared about, but we were both teaching, we lived in different cities. After about 4 years of passing it back and forth, one of Austin's jobs was co-writing the producer Christine Vachon's second book. And we said, should we just send it to her? And we did, not knowing what to expect. And one of the greatest moments of my professional career, Christine Vachon flew out here to meet with me to convince me to produce this movie.
The way we figured it, it was like that was the time where most movies were film noir. And then, towards that later, closer to the 50s, it was turning into the French New Wave kind of movement. And that's basically what the beats were representative of, was like loosening up and letting things happen in like a verite manner. And that's basically what we were trying to do with Alan's self-discovery. So, mirror that in the cinematography. So we made it more romantic and more flowing and, verite when he when he meets Lucien.
I guess in my quest to figure out who Lucien was, I think first of all, I think the script does a fairly accurate portrayal of who he was at this point of his life. But then when you go back and you look at Ginsberg's diaries, correspondence between Ginsberg and Kerouac, a memoir that E.D. Parker wrote, who Lucien was actually kind of best friends with, historically speaking, I start to find tidbits of that really helped, of things he did that helped me figure out who he was as a person. Things like he stood on the dock of a ship one time and sunk the ship just to feel what it was like to be on a sinking ship. Or he would sit at a bar and drink wine and then chew the wine glass, just chew the glass in his mouth just to evoke reactions from people around him. And go to a restaurant and order the most expensive steak raw just so he could throw it in the waiter's face. And these kinds of things I think were really helpful things that he did that helped validate who he was in the script already.
Those of you that might go and do some research, you'll see that the day after Kerouac was murdered, Ginsberg went to the West End bar, sat down at a table. He heard You Always Hurt the Ones You Love on the jukebox and wrote the poem that is the end of the film. There are lots of little seedlings throughout the film that are the origin point of beat ideas that end up paying off way down the line, and small notes like Allen in Wonderland is a quote from Lucien Carr from the first Bohemian party Ginsberg ever went to with him. Where did we take liberties? I mean, the truth is, the Beats never broke into Butler Library at Columbia, but I will say that John and I may have a personal experience with that as college students, but we're not going to get into that right now.